The little girl sat by the window of a massive mansion, her tiny fists clenching the curtains, eyes full of mischief but also of something deeper, loneliness. "No maid lasts more than a week," the millionaire muttered to himself as he stood at the door, watching yet another exhausted maid leave in tears. His daughter, Emily, had driven away more caretakers than he could count. She wasn't a bad child, just hurt, just stubborn, just missing something that money could never buy. If you're watching this right now, I want you to stick with me until the end, because what happened in that mansion will shock you, move you, and maybe even change the way you see people. And if you feel the heart in this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because stories like this are made to be shared. Emily's mother had passed away when she was only 4, leaving her father, Daniel, the ruthless millionaire businessman, completely lost in balancing work and fatherhood. He provided the best of everything: toys, tutors, expensive trips. But none of it replaced the warmth Emily craved. So, instead, she tested every maid who entered her world, locking them in closets, throwing tantrums, even shredding their uniforms. For her, it wasn't about being cruel. It was about proving they'd leave just like everyone else did. Then came Clara. She was unlike the others. She wasn't from an agency but answered a small ad Daniel's assistant had put in the local paper out of desperation. Clara arrived with nothing fancy, just a small suitcase, a kind smile, and eyes that spoke of battles she had fought in her own life. The moment she stepped inside, Emily sized her up with that familiar glare. "You won't last," Emily said flatly, crossing her arms. Clara only smiled and knelt down to her level. "We'll see. But I'm not here to leave. I'm here to listen." The first days were a storm. Emily threw paint on Clara's apron, refused to eat meals, and even shouted that she hated her. But Clara never raised her voice, never backed away. Instead, she tried something none of the others did: she spoke to Emily's silence. She told her bedtime stories even when Emily pretended to sleep. She sat on the floor beside her, humming lullabies without asking for permission. And slowly, little by little, Emily's walls began to crack. One evening, Daniel came home late, exhausted from meetings. He heard laughter echoing down the grand hallway, a sound he hadn't heard in years. Peeking into the playroom, he saw Clara and Emily sitting on the floor, building a crooked tower of blocks. Emily's hair was messy, her cheeks flushed with joy, and Clara was laughing like an old friend. Daniel's chest tightened. He had forgotten how beautiful that sound was. Still, Daniel was cautious. He had seen too many maids grow weary and quit. He warned Clara, "Don't get too attached. She'll push you away eventually." Clara only looked at him with quiet conviction. "She doesn't need another maid, Mr. Reynolds. She needs someone who won't leave. And I won't." The turning point came one rainy night when Emily woke from a nightmare. Usually, she screamed until the house staff rushed in, but this time she ran straight into Clara's room, sobbing into her arms. "Don't go," Emily whispered between tears. Clara held her tight and whispered back, "I'm not going anywhere." From that moment, Emily began to trust again. Daniel, who had buried his grief in endless business deals, began to notice the change. Emily was smiling more, eating her meals, even asking when her father would be home. Clara didn't just heal the little girl, she began to heal the distance between father and daughter. One afternoon, Emily tugged Daniel's hand and asked him to join her and Clara for a tea party. Sitting awkwardly on the floor with a plastic teacup in his hand, Daniel found himself laughing in a way he hadn't since his wife's passing. Clara had done the impossible. Not just lasting with his daughter, but bringing his family back to life. But of course, challenges came. One day, Daniel's business partner questioned Clara's influence. "She's just a maid," he scoffed. "You're letting her blur the lines." Daniel bristled, but doubt crept in. When he confronted Clara, her response was steady: "If you want me gone, I'll leave." But remember, Emily doesn't need another paycheck worker. She needs a heart that stays. That night, Daniel overheard Emily praying softly, "God, please don't take Clara away like you took Mommy." The millionaire's eyes welled with tears. For the first time, he realized money couldn't buy what Clara gave so freely: love, patience, presence. Months passed, and Clara became more than a maid. She became family. Emily thrived, her grades improved, her laughter filled the mansion, and her bond with her father deepened. One spring morning, as they all walked through the garden, Emily slipped her small hand into Clara's and then into her father's, linking them together. Daniel looked at Clara, gratitude in his eyes. "You didn't just last," he said softly.